Welcome to a Whirly Bear Productions podcast with me, Amber Williams. We explore film finance and distribution, featuring insights from filmmakers, entertainment lawyers, and industry experts. My guest today is Chris Maher, an actor, producer, and investor with a background in economics and policy. After travelling the world working with major organisations, he returned to Chicago where he balanced a trading career with building his film craft. In 2020, he co-founded MC Films, and since then he's produced and appeared in more than 20 films, including Blowback, Mojave Diamonds, and the up-and-coming Canyon of the Dead and Boardwalk Winter. His projects have also been recognised at festivals like Cannes and the American film market. In this episode, Chris shares insights on what separates a producer from an executive producer, how concept trailers and screenings can help bring in investors, what goes into a great pitch, how indie filmmakers can attract talent, the role of AI in the industry, and even new approaches to crowdfunding and film financing. It's a great episode, it's really detailed, he's a fantastic guest. So here we go. Okay, Chris, welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Happy to be on, excited to be on. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. So first of all, I want to know what motivated you to co-found MC Films.
MC Films was created with my partner Michael. It's a very creative name, MC, Michael and
Yeah,
Chris,
I thought maybe.
because my background is acting. So my acting background, and then of course through that being a creative person, and also another background beyond that is economics. So I have an economics and acting background. You combine those, you start doing some producing and start working in the production side. Michael, my awesome partner on that, is he's very business oriented. And I was telling him these ideas of what I was doing for some of these movies and some of these other productions that I've been working with and helping out with. And he's just, yes, let's do it and make it happen. And then so from there, I went from MC Films and now I have CM Films, which is my production company. So now I'm starting on a couple of films myself as a producer, both as a hired gun and then also stuff that I'm going to be lead producing on. So it's a very exciting journey. It's interesting. It's a lot of work, but it's also, labor of love. It's great.
Absolutely. So can you define the difference between executive producer and producer for us?
I still have no idea. I've been doing this a while. No, executive producer is there's a wide scope of things that could be executive producer. It could be the person who writes the check, invests in the film. It could be the people who started on the film, from the very beginning and helped to make all these things happen. It could be somebody who came in and helped out more on I don't know, maybe like a sales or distribution side. And then as a producer, there are a lot of I feel like producer roles are more active roles, very more active roles on set in whatever capacity. Say, some things need to get done, and that are above a lot of other things, and people get those done. But other than that, I still really don't try to figure out all the wide scope of producer.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I think that was
it's
good. Yeah.
a lot. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you think is
No,
the
yeah,
difference?
I think you're
Is
right.
that it?
I think of just a producer,
Mm,
extremely hard work, both of them, but a producer
mm.
more as being on set and running the set. So more involved in the actual production. Um, yeah, I'm an executive producer, more the kind of money business side of it, bringing it together from that end. Mm.
Yeah. That's where I come in a little more on the more business side end of things. But of course, I'm always down to get my hands dirty, hop in and who knows, grab some stuff, move it around, make some things happen. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a very varied background. You've done lots of different jobs in different industries. And um, so that's really interesting. You've had a fantastic life and you've traveled the world. I have been on another podcast called Fascinating Streets, I think it was called. So that episode is really great. You can go and listen to that and hear about Chris and all of his background. That's fascinating. You're a lucky man. But obviously very driven and
Fascination Street. Yeah,
hardworking. Yeah, you've made it all happen. So, I'd like to
it's
talk
still
about,
working at it,
yeah, every day.
still making it happen, living the dream, baby.
Yeah. Um, so in your process of making it happen, you've made a trailer, so a concept trailer called No Dogs Die. So the concept trailer, did that help bring in investors for you? And what kind of conversations did you have with those investors? Where did you screen the film to get it in front of the right people?
Absolutely. So as you said, we started the concept trailer a couple of years ago as sort of a fun idea, but I think in the end we all had the idea that we wanted to be on part of making this into a feature film. So we ended up putting this concept trailer or it's like a short film, 9, 10 minutes, 10-minute long film into a lot of different festivals. Uh, some of them were like just won best at a Miami Film Festival recently, just a couple months ago. So we're using that concept trailer and using that as sort of a pitch and a vehicle to show like, hey, investors, we can do the work. We've done it. Here's an idea of how it's going to look, a little idea of what it's going to be like, the tone, etc. Now, please give us your money. Please, we need your money. Uh, but we're also using it as a vehicle for a Kickstarter. We're going to get a Kickstarter to supplement the funding of the feature film, alongside of the investors. So yeah, I think it'll be great, and that Kickstarter goes live very soon, actually, pretty soon. Yeah, just a week or two. We're
So
excited.
how did you decide? I'm guessing the feature film script was written first. How did you decide what to take from that feature film script to make the short film?
Actually, it was the short film script that was written first, and then after that, it was just kind of built on. We were like, yeah, this definitely needs to be a feature film, and so the feature script is was written shortly after that by the awesome writer and director who I know from the acting world. His name is also Chris Watson. He's an awesome writer. He's hilarious and with a background of just loving horror films. He wrote the film, wrote the feature just think like a matter of weeks after we finished the concept film. And then, of course, because of the way that script writing goes, you write it again, and then you write it again, and then you get notes, and then you write it again, and then write it, and then we're still, updating all the time. But the script is very polished, and it's just won. I think it just won. It's been getting finalists in a lot of screenplay competitions recently. I think the Crimson Screenplay Festival or Film Festival was a recent finalist in that. We're excited. It's a fun tongue-in-cheek film about a serial killer who kills people who are mean to dogs. The John Wick of horror films.
Good.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Um, so throughout that journey of getting the film in front of audiences, how many investors did you gather along the way, and what type of investors? And have you had distributors contact you about the film as well? And sales reps. Are you getting all of that kind of distribution in place now?
We are not getting distribution in place just yet. We're still waiting on a couple of replies from our second lead talent. So we have our lead talent already attached. His name is Sam Trammell from True Blood. We currently have, I don't want to say big numbers and the budgets and reveal it just too early, but we have 25% of the money currently. We're very grateful for that from a couple of investors, and now we're working with a company called um, Slated.com on a vehicle to find other investors people who are interested in investing in films. So we submitted the script to slated.com, and it was ranked one of the highest films on Slated at the time. And we can use that, and we get a particular uh, film rating, a script rating on their site, which allows us access to something like 800 investors. And we just pitch them slowly, but we're waiting to really do a major pitch and a major Kickstarter and a major all of that for investors and distribution until we get our second and third and fourth main name talent attached.
Okay. What do you put in your pitch to an investor? Because it's completely different to pitching to something like Netflix. So what are the main things you put in that pitch? And where do you get the information from? How do you work out the figures?
Sure. But we had our line producer go through and figure out an appropriate budget for what we want to do. We also know that where we'll be filming, we'll be getting a lot of tax credits and incentives. So we can say, hey, Mr. or Miss Investor, part of your investment is protected because of these tax credits. Um, because once we spend that money, we'll be getting about a third of it back, which is really great. So that's one of those things. We got that information directly from the people who were providing the tax incentives. And the others that we have comps and found other comparable horror films in the indie genres similar to ours or things that, have to do with animals. And we looked at some of that information and said, okay, these are movies relative to ours. Um, they cost about this much to make, and they made about that much in the box office. We'll be doing something, similar to all of these sort of things, but, with our own twist. So, so we used that and had that in the pitch deck, and and yeah, I think that's pretty good bit. And then obviously we say, hey, investor, Mr. or Miss Investor, if you supply us X amount of money, say you give us $1 million, we'll offer you $1 million back plus 20% as an ROI, initial ROI upon the sale, and then whatever scale of your investment to the film on the back end.
Cool.
Yeah, I think this is pretty standard.
It's easy.
It's nothing special. It's a matter of getting in front of the right people, people who like the concept, people who love the idea, and just hope that you have the right person. It's kind of a numbers game at this point.
Have you been in a room with an investor and they've been kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm too interested, like, and you've had to kind of convince them and push them a bit further? Have you got any sales tactics in that respect?
I'm not personally the sales guy, but yeah, we haven't encountered that just yet. Most everything is honestly just online, talking to people or talking to friends who, we're lucky to have some friends with some deep pockets who just love the idea and concept and know that we're capable filmmakers. Uh, and so they're like, yeah, this is great. And they send it off to other people as well and who are interested. And so we've got a large groups of people who are absolutely very gung-ho about the project. And once again, we're just kind of waiting on our talent, all of our talent to be in and locked in for this.
So,
That's the current stages of this current film that we're doing. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, how do you go about getting talent in your film? I guess you have some friends perhaps that help you out with that, or you know some people that'd like to be in the film. Um, so what if there's someone that you don't know that you want in the film, and what's the best way to approach talent that you don't know?
Sure. So for this, we haven't approached the smaller supporting roles just yet. Obviously, we all have great connections. I'm very fortunate to have worked with and personally know some name talent, awesome actors who are popular, who've done big things. But currently, we're using casting directors. So we hired casting from Bass Casting, Jordan Bass of Bass Casting. He casted movies like Annabelle, for example, in the past. And we took the approach of saying, okay, these name actors fulfill or look like and can act like the main characters or the characters that we want. They're kind of in our lookbook, and we go for that, and they spitball, oh, well, this actor would be great, this actor would be great. Let's make an offer of X amount of dollars toward that actor. We'll do that by writing to the agent, pitching the script, the idea, the concept, and then we start talking numbers. And then we say, great, awesome. Let's make a little deal where we have you on retainer or ready to go for 12 to 18 months if we need. So that's how we locked in our um, first actor. And now it's just finding the second name actor is really just a waiting game. So we do that, and then we have to wait 2 weeks for their reply. Sometimes they don't reply, sometimes they reply right away. And so we just started looking for our second lead actor in film, a name actor that will hopefully bring in audience attention as well as the investors' attention.
So, if you were a new little indie filmmaker and you weren't in the position that you're in where you have all these contacts, but you wanted someone, a name to be in your film, what would be the best way to go about that? And
Depends on the budget, obviously.
yeah,
And what were you saying?
so if this indie filmmaker contacted a agent, is the agent, do they always have to tell the talent about the project, or are they a gatekeeper who kind of filter out, the talent's definitely not going to do these projects, or does it always go through?
They definitely do. I know
They
for a
filter.
fact that the agents will just not tell their talent about it. Interestingly, I've heard plenty of stories from other filmmakers who have great relationships or friendships with some of the talent, the name actors or actors, and they talk to the actors, and the actors like, yes, this is awesome. I would love to do this film. I love it. I know that you're good and great for it. And just here, talk to the agent because you have to do the deal through the agent. But they're like, yes, please do. And then, you know, the producer or filmmaker contacts the agent and says, hey, I have this role. I spoke to, your actor about doing this role. Um, we have the money, we're ready to do it, and we would love to have them on board. Let's make the deal. And then time goes by and they don't hear back, and then they go and hit up the actor and be like, hey, how come like, I thought you were excited about this project. Didn't you want to do that? And they're like, yeah, I'm super excited, but I haven't heard anything from my agent yet. So the agent just doesn't tell them sometimes. And I've even heard and seen where the agents would do like a flip-flop of, say you have a personal relationship with the actor and you say, hey, I want you for this movie. They say, okay, let's talk to the agent. You talk to and they say, yeah, I'm available and I want to do that. I've got nothing else going on right now because of, XYZ. Then they talk to the agent, and then the agent says, oh no, they're not available, but you can take this other actor. And they're like, well, okay, or whatever. I mean, he told me he was available, but okay. And then they go back to the actor and say, hey, your agent said you weren't available and gave me another actor. And they, what? So I've heard of like ton of agent stories like that, and it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But at the same time, the agents there are many agents who are very good and will push their actors and talent for a lot of things. But a lot of times there are people who are very bold filmmakers who will approach the agents and they won't have a proper deck. They don't have funding. That's a really big one because the agents are say, okay, so what's your budget? If you can't answer that basic question, they're going to say, yeah, okay, sure, buddy, move on. Uh, are they going to say, they'll say, hey, sure, but you need to make a deposit or a pay or play if you don't have, all your ducks in a row. If you're not funded or fully funded, and if you're not fully funded, you need to be able to make a deposit, a retainer, or do a pay to play deal, make some sort of deal where the talent just doesn't miss out by saying yes to a production that might not even happen, you know. So they can't be put on hold or block out a schedule for a production that might not happen because it's not fully funded. Meanwhile, they miss out on other projects. They
Mm.
can't.
I mean, there's some talent that are more interested in doing, maybe not more interested, but are open to doing indie films, aren't there?
Mhm.
Um, so is that just the same process you go through their agent and if they're not doing anything at the time? Because you need to stay relevant, don't you? You need to stay in front of the eyes of the world and society and the audience to kind of keep you at that level. So is it quite common that the talent do those kind of indie projects?
Um, yes and no. You know, there's talent who have done some really big things in the past, but now maybe because they've done the really large things, they take time off or they get recognized for that, but it was so long ago that now they haven't been on anything too relative or, too blockbuster. They have no blockbusters or big shows. So they start to take other things like indie films. Their schedule is cleared up and it's good to work, but it's also a matter of what the talent wants to be doing, what if they want to be doing it, um, and also the size of the budget also has a big impact on it. You know, sure, there can be an indie film that's like a $20 million film. That definitely happens. And actors will say, okay, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, $20 million. Give me $5 million. I'll do your film. I don't care how bad it is. It's 5 million bucks. Sure.
Yeah. Um, okay. I want to speak a bit about Nova because this takes part in space, doesn't it? Tell us a bit about that project because it's also a short film first, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so this is Nova is the first film that I am personally heading as the lead producer. I optioned the script recently from the awesome director and writer Tristan Ortiz. We filmed Nova, filmed it as the lead actor. They brought me on as just the actor originally. And the concept was great. It was awesome. And then the team was amazing. So Tristan was the director. There was a great DP named Nate who helped to write the film as well. And just awesome crew. They were amazing in what they did. The writing was so good. And then we ended up taking that to a lot of festivals and it just keeps taking home all the awards. It won Best Picture in what we were doing at the Orlando Independent Film Festival. I got nominated as Best Actor. Natalie, the actress, won Best Actress of the Year. Um, we got Best Film of the Year. We got, Best Writing, Best Editing, Best Directing, Best all of the everything. I almost feel
Yep.
bad because we took home everything, and then everywhere it goes, it's just winning. And it's a beautiful story, and we took it out, we elongated it, and it doesn't necessarily take place on in space, it takes place on Earth. It's about a cosmonaut, I believe is what they were called in the late 50s, just before they, you know, uh, I think it was, yeah, late 50s, early 60s, before they had ever even gone to the moon. So it's a guy who's testing it out, pushing the envelope, so to say, when it comes to space travel, getting into space. And and he goes in and he's asked to explore an anomaly that's just outside of Earth. And he goes there and he is pulled into this anomaly. Things go white, black, and then he pops out about 60 years later. And he comes back to Earth and he has to try to rediscover life as as a guy from the past to modern day while trying to get back to his family and everything that he loved in the past while struggling with that which he's built in the modern day. I think it's a very compelling, dramatic, and sci-fi piece. A bit of sci-fi, a bit
Yeah,
of that,
I like
but
it.
it's more about the drama and coming to terms with what you had and what you have today, and if you want to get back to that or move forward in life. And there's a lot of struggle, internal struggle and external with it. It's great and fun. There's a lot of fun
Yeah,
pieces too.
it sounds
You gotta have
interesting.
fun.
So he goes back and his family's 60 years older.
Yeah. So he has to find them as today while trying to get back to who they were or what he was at 6 years ago. Meanwhile, meeting new people along the way, you know.
It
I
sounds,
won't dive too much. I won't dive too much into it just yet. But
you don't want to give too much away. No, definitely. And so that goes into production, the feature film this year, is that right? In May? Yeah.
we're aiming for late fall for that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Exciting stuff.
So it's going to be back to back. We do No Dogs Die and then go straight into production for Nova.
Wow. Okay, that's going to be.
Very exciting.
How long do you think the shoot will be for that?
For No Dogs Die, we have 5 to 6 weeks scheduled currently. 6 weeks, it'll take a long time, longer than normal because of dogs working with animals. And Nova will be a 5 week shoot after that. So not
Okay.
as much time as we would like or hope, but still,
Always.
a good enough time. The team is super effective. Everybody on board is knows what they're doing, and so we'll get a lot done in the time.
Brilliant.
And I'm
And
excited, pumped.
I bet you are. It sounds really exciting. Busy. Busy is the way to go. Um,
Yeah.
so what's your experience using AI on any of your projects and how do you feel about it? Where do you see it going?
As an actor, I hate it. It's terrible. The worst thing ever because it might be replacing my job here soon, wiping out my career sooner than you might think. As a producer, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Um, because in a movie, a large movie I did recently, we're still, after the fact, of course, it's always after the fact, much after you realize, oh crap, we needed to kind of change some things in editing here and that because of the story or whatever we captured just ended up not being good, or we missed some things, or we needed more, or we needed something to change because of whatever direction it's going at, or some of the shots with trying to use CGI or certain things that were just not possible to get uh, realistic um, in camera. And it's really hard to do CGI wise, and we don't want it to look bad CGI wise. It's come to play and really make some things helpful or very useful with fixing a lot of those things in editing. We also, some of the things we did, we would add entire scenes, not necessarily dialogue scenes, I shouldn't say scenes, but supplemental footage that we created in AI that looked amazing relative to what we were talking about, more of like a flashes of supplemental footage that we would use to keep the audience's attention, both the audience's attention and relative to what was going on. For example, I don't know if I want to talk too much about it, but there's a scene I did. It's an archaeology movie, so it's not necessarily that exciting. Well, not that exciting to the modern day viewer, but there's some of the scenes that might not be too exciting because it's talking about archaeology and history. So one of the things we did is, on one of these digs that they're doing and talking about something that they're, looking at, we insert a bit of additional supplemental footage of, say, it was like a Roman soldier being killed. And we did that in AI. We wouldn't have been able to get that, in camera without doing an extra, like $200,000 worth of shoot, and you're creating a whole different movie scene and entire things. But with AI, we were able to just insert like flashes of that sort of thing happening. I thought that was pretty cool and very helpful.
Yeah, that sounds great. Do you know how much that did cost?
Not much. It was just the director doing it. himself, so nothing.
Okay.
Subscription service.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and it was ridiculously, it's very cheap, but it's time consuming, and you have to be good at it. You have to know what you're doing. And you have to know how to implement it properly into the film. And yeah, it worked out great for us, and supplemented the movie and made it, 10 times better, and made it more engaging for the audience,
Mm.
myself included, because I love, action and stuff happening,
Yeah.
things going on. So
That's brilliant. I think you can learn a lot of the softwares yourself, but I don't know how difficult it is to kind of blend it and implement it on top of your film and make sure it's, make it look realistic. So,
yeah, it's the updates, like you said, AI updates and are insane. They're just happening all the time. They're By the time you finish one thing, it's already updated and brand new. And that happened to us. It happened to us 3 times now. So we were like, okay, we'll put in a little bit of extra stuff. It doesn't look amazing, some of the things, if you know what you're looking for, you can see that it's not right. It looks good, but it's not there. And then we're still, still working on it. We're like, oh, there's an update. Now we can make this footage even better that was in there. And now there's another update recently that we received and got, and now we're just going to go back and do that AI footage, um, redo all of it so it looks even better. And now I've received, for example, some concept trailers that I've been getting and using and working with some of these filmmakers on, and they look way too good, scarily good. They look awesome. You can tell slightly that it's AI, but at the same time, it's like, okay, that conveys the message, and you show how you're going to do things and how it looks. And it's amazing. It blows me out of the water all the time. And it's kind of, like I said, scares me, kind of scary.
yeah, that's a really good idea if you're sending out your teaser trailer, um, not to film festivals and things like that, but to production houses and producers and investors because, it doesn't need to be exactly spot on. If you can tell it's AI slightly, then it's not so much of a problem. They just can still get a feel for the tone of and the story that you're going to tell.
But yeah, in the movies, it's definitely amazing. We've updated it more and more and makes it more engaging for our audience. Well, at the same time, we're still using, all the main actors and everything, but and we'll continue to do that for many years
Yeah,
until I'm sure that 10 years from now, AI is just gonna producers are just gonna be AI generators and be like, hey, I want, Zendaya and Tom Holland to star in a space dinosaur movie where they are eating lunch on Mars or something. I don't know. And it's
yeah.
just going to be
We're
a whole
probably not
movie.
too far away from that, but hopefully we'll still keep some of the old production too. Um, how much do you get involved in the marketing side? You said you're going to do a crowdfunding campaign, so tell us a bit about that and what your plan is for the crowdfunding.
So for the crowdfunding, this is actually my first time doing crowdfunding for film. Normally I do the other investor route, and another film I have coming up, we're doing through the stock market. Interestingly, we're selling shares of the film, which is a
Oh, we
new
have to
thing
come back
to
to
do.
that. Yeah. Okay.
But
Is
with
that
the
like
crowdfunding,
Legionnaire kind of thing?
there's a what?
Is that similar to Legionnaire, how they are working? No?
I
Okay.
don't know.
We'll come back
I
to
would
that
have
in a
to
minute.
I'd have to look that up, but yeah, as far as the Kickstarter and marketing goes, we just started launching, social media stuff for the film yesterday, literally yesterday. Um, so we're working on building that up, building social media presence, sending it out, and just kind of creating that background. We have an editor fixing up and curating our Kickstarter video, where we have the director talking about the film, why he wrote it, why the audience would like it, while we splice that in with our concept trailer as well as our concept short film for the audience to for them to view and vote on with their dollar. And so we're just in doing that, and we'll be posting all the time, regularly, annoyingly, harassing everybody like, hey guys, look at our movie, support us. We want to make you movies. Okay, cool. Just like that. That's how we talk.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
How
naturally.
else would you? That's perfect. Or what platform are you using?
For that crowdfunding, we're going to be using Kickstarter um, for crowdfunding on that, just to test it out and see how things go.
So let's go back to your shares movie. How are you doing that?
Mhm.
Yeah, tell us.
Um, so I'm working with um, a broker, a big time New York broker, a Wall Street broker. He's not even New York, but a man who's very experienced in working with companies and bringing them to the public. So you can trade public shares, and so you can buy essentially a share of the film, and you can do so through, we can contract it like through the stock market, essentially. Um, and it's a vehicle that we have. It's called a Regulation A. It's a way to raise money through the stock market. You buy particular shares or certain shares, and then once the film comes out, it will pay back the shareholders in that way. And it's very interesting, and it's a brand new way of me as a filmmaker, which is amazing and cool, and I think it's wonderful. And so we're there working with a larger company who has a collection of films, and they are getting all of that funding through that sort of way, and we have a portion of that coming our way. It's very interesting.
That is.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about it, but it's a brand new way of making movies or funding films. Well, I shouldn't say it's brand new. It's been around for a long time. Um,
It's not very
but not
common
many,
though, is it?
yeah, not many filmmakers have done this, and I wanted to do something similar for a long time with my economics background. I used to trade and invest in stocks, but I didn't know how to make something like this until now. I'm partnered up with an excellent gentleman who also is a aspiring or part-time documentary filmmaker, and he just loves films. I got fortunate that, you know, a Wall Street guy, instead of aiming for, going for big banks or the big business sort of stuff, he's aiming to help fund films in this way. It's great. It's an awesome collaborative effort that we're doing.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'd like to hear more about that. So maybe you guys will have to come back when you can talk more about it and you can describe it in depth because, all of that stuff can sound a bit daunting and complicated at times. So,
Yeah, I mean, it takes time because you have to go through an entire regulatory process.
yeah,
Um, so you have to get it all, you have to curate it. You have to curate it and prepare it to be uh, prepped for the regulators who can authorize it to be ready to be sold in these shares through through this process. So there's an entire legal process that goes on. You have all of your IR relations, investor relations go out. We put it into the news and everything once it's uh, out and going and ready to go. And then it's to the races from there, I guess. Um, but it's cool. It's an amazing vehicle for filmmakers and filmmakers who want to learn about it, I guess could hit me up and talk about it. Or, if you want to buy shares of my film, you're totally welcome to. I highly encourage it. It's going to be pretty valuable because once again, I haven't heard of many filmmakers doing this. The gentleman I'm working with has funded films in the past this way, and it's great. I think it's going to be interesting. So kind of an experiment, but I just the way everything looks and is, and with my econ background, I was like, yeah, this makes more sense than just trying to harass investors all the time or beg investors all the time. Please fund my indie film.
Mm.
or,
Yeah.
the crowdfunding style too.
Always coming up with new creative ways to fund films because it can be very difficult. So I love that. That's really interesting and exciting. We are running out of time, unfortunately. Um, so where can we find you and find out more about your projects?
Find me on Instagram, which is Chris Fredma, ChrisFredma. It's my first name, middle name, and last name is the first syllables of each. Not everybody gets that, but find me there. Find me on IMDb. Check out my movies, go watch them, and give them a rating on IMDb. Say, hey, this guy was a really good actor. Oh, he produces too. That's kind of cool. Go check those out and give me a good or bad rating. I don't care. Just
Good. Give
say
me.
say hi.
Okay, we'll put all your handles and links and everything in the show notes as well, so people can always go to those if they're having trouble finding them themselves. So, but you have been a great guest and it's been brilliant. And I love hearing about all your projects and how you're progressing throughout the industry and within your career. So, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. You've been an amazing host. You've been so kind and nice, and thanks for putting up with my wild rants about everything.
That was brilliant, really good. So, I will let you go. Have a brilliant rest of your day and good luck with everything. Hopefully, we'll see you
Thank you.
again.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Hi, listeners. If you want to keep this podcast going, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It's just a couple of pounds a month and it helps cover the production costs and keeps the episodes coming. Plus, you'll get access to bonus content, so podcast episodes that aren't released to the public. You'll also get insider tips on financing and distributing your film. And I also have a voucher code on there from Writer Duet Pro. This is fantastic screenwriting software. I use it myself. It's excellent. So you can go on there and get a discount each month for Writer Duet Pro. So our Patreon page is patreon.com/film finance podcast. I'll read that out again. Patreon.com/film finance podcast. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye bye.